that makes for the perfect backdrop for the session that's coming up next, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving into a conversation that examines the larger trajectory of India's hospitality sector. India's hospitality moment from cyclical upswing to structural supercycle. Is what we are witnessing today a temporary upcycle, or are we at the beginning of a sustained long-term growth phase? What brought us here? Strong demand, pricing power, disciplined supply. Will that take us forward? To explore this, we have a formidable lineup of speakers who are shaping this industry at scale. Ladies and gentlemen, with a big, big round of applause, let's welcome our distinguished panelists onto the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Puneet Chhatwal, Managing Director and CEO at IHCL, and Mr. Shalin Kumar from UBS Securities India, in a very special conversation with Nikunj Dalmia.
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. And this is one event I certainly always, every year, look forward to attend and learn. The energy levels here are absolutely infectious. A couple of years ago, it was small. Now it's become large. And this year, it's actually jumbo. Now, I really don't need to introduce the dynamics which are at play for the Indian hotel industry. I would say, achhe din nahi. These are bahut achhe din. But before I forward, I want to rewind. And rewind and talk about a statement that Mr. Chhatwal said in 2018 when he took over as IHCL CEO. And he said the following: Indian hotels, you got to stay with me when I say this, Indian hotels is a sleeping beauty. So Mr. Chhatwal, if you're the Prince Charming, what was that secret kiss which turned the Taj?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Basically, Nikunj, I think you are asking, wo kaun thi? I would say एक अच्छी टीम थी, एक अच्छी स्ट्रैटेजी थी, एक अच्छा टेलविंड थी, जो आई और कोविड में it got stopped, but then it came even faster. And then after that we can say थी कथा, focus था, passion था, and execution was there. So I think there is, you always make strategies in boardrooms and in, team building meetings, but ultimately it comes to the belief and relentless execution. And I think we not only benefited from that, but the entire sector benefited, it would be fair to say. I'm not taking credit for the sector, but there was a different way of looking at things. And I think maybe we were the catalyst for it.
Okay.
Right, Shalin?
I have a lot to add.
Okay, so I'm going to take it forward. I've got a 14-year-old son, and he's in that phase of watching Avengers, right? And there are Avengers in this room. There is Marriott, there is Indian Hotel, and there is just about every major Avenger of the hotel industry is right in the room. But every Avenger would say that you need a Tony Stark, an analyst who has to tell you where the stock is headed, where the company is headed, and should you really invest in the hotel sector? So thankfully I'm on your right side.
Yes.
The man next to me was one of the first analysts in India to come out with a report on the hotel sector when everyone said no. क्या सोचा था यार, रिपोर्ट निकाल दी थी जब इंडियन होटल का भाव 80 रुपया था. Correct. कुछ तो सोचा होगा.
Yeah. So, Nikunj, to your earlier point, what he did was not just for the Indian hotels, he did for the whole hotel industry. So I come from, thank you, public markets, right? And from 2009 till 2018, like this sector, nobody wanted to look at it. And when we started talking about this sector, people were like, come on, it's a dead sector, right? We don't want to get into it. So in India, what we noticed that companies, they were hotels. This man came and made an organization. He started, that's true, sorry, I'm gonna embarrass you. Right? So it's about running the hotel efficiently. It's not just about a wow factor, but thinking about shareholders as well, because that's what you need for a sustainable, right? So that's what has done, and we have seen that a great success of Indian hotels. We have seen multiple IPOs coming in past 3 years. We have seen multiple private equities coming in. We are hearing a lot more from the global brands. They are so bullish about India. But the spark, right? So I give credit to him. The spark was kindled by him, right? Things have changed, the narrative has changed, everything has worked. Yeah.
Fantastic. So we've had a good, if I may use the word, Goa mein honeymoon word ये बड़ा ज़्यादा use होता है ना. So yeah. So we have been in a good honeymoon phase for the hotel industry. So what we've seen could be called as an exceptional phase for the Indian hotel or the hospitality sector. But base effect and the size of the industry will catch up. So what are the chances that in coming years, what has been exceptional will become respectable? So अच्छा, बहुत अच्छा नहीं होगा, मगर सिर्फ अच्छा होगा.
You know, I think first you have to believe in the India story. If that story is true, what we have seen in the last 3-4 years, if that's going to continue, then the best is yet to come. So it has to keep going up, because one basic assumption is that demand will continue to exceed supply. The reason India works the way it works, because the top 10 or 12 markets are very strong. Before, the reliance was maybe on Rajasthan, Bombay, Goa, Delhi. But now to the 10, we have also added 2 new ones. Pune 4-5 years ago, I think Lucknow is the next one coming. So there'll be more and more mega markets which will support the sector. Number 2, our rates and profitability focus in the sector, you said it, wow factor, is now also become a very business-like. I think HVS or somebody put it, I think it was HVS, on the cost per room in mid-scale, upscale. So we are not building luxury mid-scale and luxury upscale. So there is a certain definition of a cost of a project, and that defines the returns you will have as a percentage, because the return is more or less fixed. There is a rate ceiling in certain markets. They can go up and down by a certain percentage point over a certain number of years, but it's not unlimited. So I think that's the second very important factor. The third is that because of India's positioning where it has reached, I'm just coming from Delhi like hardly 10 minutes ago, and we had the former German Chancellor, 4 times German Chancellor, Dr. Merkel there. A few days ago, we had President Macron in Mumbai. On the way, I get an invite for a lunch with the Canadian Prime Minister, which is 1st of March. And I made a call and I checked that Taj Mahal Delhi, popularly known as Taj Mansingh, has hosted 27 heads of states in the last 12 months. Now, when did this happen before? Why is this happening? So there is a shift where the interest of people in India is massive, and the delegations are helping us with the foreign tourist arrival. Otherwise, that figure will look disastrous. And my fourth belief is the foreign tourist arrivals itself. Whatever way we have taken out, I think over long term, that is not sustainable. So it will come. As an example, Paris gets 25 million, we don't even get 9 million. So there is so much about make in India, heal in India, wed in India. There's so many other things happening. The other important factor which all analysts, except a few like Shaleen, say, why are you only looking at one single pillar? So some of our friends from the global majors are here. They have so much convinced the analysts around the world that RevPAR is the sole factor on which this sector is dependent. But most of the top chains in India, their non-rooms revenue is 50%. So they don't count the wedding dates. Hamara to month like Jan had 4 dates, all moved to Feb, so Feb will be very good. So there is a lot of importance on food and beverage which happens in the hotels, whether it's your restaurants, it's an event like this one. This is just the beginning, especially with Bharat Mandapam. I mean, if you go to Bharat Mandapam now, there are multiple events happening there. I was there 3 days ago. There were 3 different events happening in Bharat Mandapam. I mean, it's just the beginning because Yashobhumi has not yet picked up at all. But as we speak, I think one of the big tourism events called Sate is happening there. So there is a lot of these activities which are giving the tailwind to the structural shift. If an event is on in Geo, we all avoid taking the BKC exit because the time you might take from your destination till that exit will be maybe 1/4 of from that exit to get to the Geo. But the important thing is that that event creates so much of demand that everything in 5-kilometer radius is sold out. So I think a lot of that is happening. I see no reason, save for any macroeconomic situation. I also read on the way that there is tension between Pakistan, Afghanistan, God knows. You know, these are things which are beyond our control, but that are beyond the control of any sector. So we can't do anything on that front, but that will hurt all sectors. I remain absolutely optimistic that the best is yet to come and there is only one way upwards. And I would use some of our friends, Mandeep or others in the same. They said tailwinds will come, but they will not last. So this audience would know April started with Pahalgam. We are not finished with the financial year, right? May we had Operation Sindoor. June we had the airline accident. July, August, September, unstoppable rains leading to landslides, flooding in many, many destinations. Then you had in between Iran and Israel tensions. I mean, everything you can think of, tariff, etc., etc., etc. But each time, after 10, 15 days, the sector bounced back. And I don't see that changing. So headwinds will come. We will have challenges. But the resilience of the sector got demonstrated in COVID. When your revenue falls to 0 and you still bounce back, what will these 5, 10 percentage point occupancy or rate will do to you? Not much. I hope that what I'm going to say now is the most important. I hope as a sector we have learned to keep our costs under check. I can say that some of ours have built or have been trying to build back up, and I have to always give a reminder because I think we were a very, as you said, there's an expression called glance and gloria. We were like a glance and gloria kind of a sector, which we should still remain, but with what Shaleen said, some balance in terms of returns for the owners, for the shareholders, for your own people, for your talent. If you don't make enough money, how are you going to spend money in the talent for the future? So I think if we do all those things, the rest will take care of itself.
Before I turn to Shaleen, I have a very basic question. Everybody knows that data. We have an evolved audience here that for next 3 years, demand will be more, supply will be less. And that is the data which is there in the public domain for 2030. But hotels are not built for 3 years. They're built for decades. What happens after 2030 when the demand will come back? We have data for 3 years, but after 2030, since the demand would be there, could there be an impact?
It's an interesting question because, yes, there are several things which go with that question. One is that if you're investing into hotels as an owner, hotels are anti-cyclical investments. So you have to invest when the things are bad. because you get it at a price which you don't get it otherwise. If you enter at the top of the cycle, then at some point the cycle softens. It may not reverse, but at least it will soften. So you'll end up being on the wrong side. Having said that, I think most important job that our advisors in the sector can do for the benefit of all, including yourself and Shaleen, is to say, my guess is more than 50% of the pipeline of the rooms that will come in are in the non-traditional markets. So if your top 12, 15 markets keep working the way they have been working, then the newer markets, the doubling of the airports, the highways, the train stations, etc., they are creating either a new demand or that latent demand, which was always there but could not be serviced, is coming into play. And that is the key. So our statements, my own statements, are based on the belief that many of those projects that are getting built, and sometimes when we sit in our own office in project review committee, that's when projects get presented. So I ask, "Bhai, ye jagah hai kahan? Show me on the map. I've never heard of this." And I get all kinds of stories, how wonderful it is, how beautiful. And I think we just opened a Tree of Life in Panheli. I think that's the right word. I've never been to Panheli in my life, or even in my dreams. I don't even know where it is, I forgot. So there are such destinations which are coming up very fast. And they were always there. It's not that they were not there. But they were maybe serviced by guest houses. Let's even say guest houses of Tata Group. So we have taken over some of those and converted them into our homestay, Ama, in Pavna, for example, in the Lonavala area, or in the Chikmagalur area, Tata Coffee guest houses. So only thing is they've got now a brand name, and before that accommodation was there. So the second part of the pipeline is how much of it is new and how much was already existing and you're doing a refurb and changing it. So all in all, I think 200,000 rooms, I have been most bullish going on to say that it'll be 300,000. 50% increase in the next 3 years. But 200,000 equals Dubai and Singapore put together. I mean, they are nice places, but they're not as nice. Thoda to. We should be proud of our own heritage and our own system, that we can do better than these two places put together.
Fantastic. So, Shaleen, one big change for the entire hotel sector has been that markets were, before COVID, treating them as infra companies.
Yeah.
Cycle aati thi, because the cycle P multiples never expanded. But now hotel stocks are commanding P multiples of consumer companies. Is this a deep swell, or this is something from a market standpoint is here to stay? And why this question is important is because we have the entire industry here. This is the industry which is growing, which will need capital. So a sense from you where the hotel stocks and the P multiples are headed for next 3 years.
So, okay, I give a perspective from the markets here. See, hotel industry is a very long cycle. We had a down cycle beginning from 2009. Till 2019, it was a down cycle. A lot of investors have churned out during that time, right? So new investors which came from 2005-06 onward, they were only seen down cycle. They have never experienced an up cycle. So when we were telling about Indian hotel sectors, there was no memory, no good memories of the sector. So it was very difficult for them to imagine that room rates can go up, the margins can be 35-40%, right? ARR can be in double-digit growth. Very difficult, almost impossible. Now, when we're sitting here, see, if you look at your previous question in terms of the demand, supply catching up, that's not the right way to look at it, because you need to go down to our micro markets. And when we look at the micro markets, right, most of the big micro markets, that's not happening, right? You still need a lot of rooms over here which are lagging, right? So I don't think so. It's about 3 years. I think it's going to be much more longer that we'll see your demand going to be very, very strong. And in terms of the multiples or in terms of the valuations which we are looking at it, I'll say a little bit of cool off has happened, but this industry is now generating cash. So there will be some divergence which will happen amongst the stronger player because it's an asset heavy industry. So companies with a strong balance sheet, with a strong promoter, with a strong cash flow will command premium. Right? So there will be a divergence in the valuation. You cannot have the same valuations because at the end of the day, you have to put down the capital and you have to put down capital smartly. Right? So you will see the distinguish. So again, coming to your point, you may be early, you may be late, or you may be on time, right? So that's where the difference will come. The capital who's coming on time will get the premium multiple. So multiple will stay.
Great. So this is 2026. Let's rewind it to 2030.
Sorry, I have to interrupt. It doesn't stay. Since Nikunj has left ET now, the hotel sector multiple is only going down. We have to find a new Nikunj who goes on the TV and says this sector is good. It's like a consumer sector. So, बड़ी मुश्किल से यहाँ लाए हैं. Now slowly we have to.
नहीं जी, मैं तो रोज आ जाऊंगा. P multiple
On
आ
that point, Nikunj, hotel sector is growing faster than most of the consumer sectors. So when you compare with the staples or discretionary, hotel sector growth and profitability is better.
So बता दो कौन-कौन सा शेयर लेने का है. बस खत्म. पैनल में 10 मिनट है, पहले ही खत्म कर देंगे.
Separately.
Mr. Chatwal, well, today things are looking hunky-dory, things are looking up. There is a genuine challenge, and that genuine challenge is availability of talent. While the sector is expanding, hospitality standards have to be maintained. Brands are competing, koi points de raha hai, koi free ki chai de raha hai, koi Americano de raha hai. Standards have to be maintained, and AI cannot increase productivity here, right? At least this is one sector. You know, when I get up in the morning and I say that, "Arey yaar, AI sector में तो नहीं आएगा, बाकी जगह आ जाए, यहाँ पर नहीं आने वाला." The cup of coffee has to be served. What about talent availability? Have you done some numbers? How many hotels? How much talent is required? What about wage inflation? These are realistic concerns.
So we have recently seen a wage reform, and all companies, all sectors have had to take that exceptional item in the results, sector agnostic. I think talent is a real issue, but we started addressing it long time ago. Actually, we've become a feeder for the sector, you know. The only good thing is a lot of people are now wanting to come back who had left us for the reasons.
Anybody
because they
here
see
who's
more
coming back?
Growth.
Anybody here who's coming back?
I will tell you that in the break. है तो सही. कुछ है यहाँ पे भी है. So I think the problem is not just hospitality. The challenge you have is in a country like India, which suddenly becomes very interesting for all. Then people are trying to establish businesses. I remember the last time it happened in such a manner was early 90s when the financial reforms happened in India. And non-sectoral people, like when the GEs of the world came to India, they hired a lot from hospitality sector because they were more presentable, they were more worldly wise, they knew how, and you know, food was to be served, which wines to be taken or not. So we are seeing a similar trend now that you hear of offers being made, 200%, 300%, 400% more salary, which does not make any sense for something which is not even an established business. So that is creating a talent crunch in all sectors. Within hospitality, we are a little bit more blessed because we have been on the journey of skilling. Indian Hotels itself has created more than 70 skilling centers with Tata Strive, and we have skilled more than 50,000 people in the last few years. And that journey goes on because a part of our guidance has been to skill 100,000. Our workforce is 40,000 plus, maybe it will grow to 60 in the next 4-5 years. So that's not just for us, that is for the sector at large. So I think if everybody does that job and invests in the talent and makes it very attractive, then It's a big opportunity. See, we have come from a myth that, with the exception of, let's say, Mr. Kachru of Radisson sitting here, but when he became general manager of Ashok, he was maybe less than 30. वो होता नहीं था. So where is it written that you have to be 45 or 50 or 55 to be general manager of a great hotel? You have to be a good leader. You have to have the good business acumen, and you have to have a good exposure to know how a good hotel should function. So we have created, as an example, a lot of programs already 5-6 years ago with Ginger. Deepika did that with some of the hotel schools. 5 years after college, you can run a Ginger. Why you cannot run a Ginger branded hotel after that, or a Tree of Life? Similarly, we are taking people from outside the sector. If you are a master's program and then you've had 2 years of experience, you're 24, 25. Then within 7 years, you could be GM of a Taj. So there's lots of things. We have sent almost all of our top management has been to Ivy League schools for advanced management program. Our middle management, every year we are sending maybe almost 20 people doing an executive MBA. That's a lot of investment going in without any restrictions that you have to work for us, please sign a bond. Those are things of the past. If you are happy going elsewhere, go and just remember where you are coming from and talk good. That's it. So I think talent is something which is in our hands. We need to nurture talent. We need to help the talent grow. We need to provide opportunities which are in sync with time and let the past go by. वो वैसा होता था. When I did my food and beverage course at the hotel school, I'd never seen the real wine. वो colored water से हम करते थे, ये German wine है, ये French है. So Mandeep can relate to it. He was 2 years senior to me. He was doing the same. So 2 years after me, those who came, they did the same.
Mandeep is a whiskey guy.
नहीं अभी तो कुछ भी नहीं है. देखो, times have changed. Everything is gone as far as alcohol is concerned with him.
Shalin, I'm coming to you for the closing comments. Only 4 minutes are left. Didn't realize it's already 25 minutes. Mr. Chatwal, every year I've interacted with you, I've just got a new sense of a new idea. So post-COVID, you started building up the asset-light model. Then you started building up what could be called as the mid-tier brands. Then now you're acquisition hungry. Couple of acquisitions have happened in the last 12, 18 months. Where is that magic wand of yours going to move?
See, one thing we learned which helps you is you should act and have strategies based on the means you have. When I came, we had debt. And then COVID came, that debt went to 3,600 crores, right? Now, today we sit on almost 4,000 crore cash and zero debt. So the strategy has to change, right? It is not that one comes at the cost of the other. What we have followed, and I don't mind sharing it because I've done it in a public domain, and especially with the analyst, we have used the last 3 years to grow aggressively. To your previous question, in that growth, it was very much driven by brands and by getting talent. There are 3-4 sitting right here in the front. He said, we are doing this so we can do a very strong mid-market play with Ginger, taking it to 250 hotels, but we also get the people who are going to drive it. So who did 135 on their own, then they can do also 270 with our help. That was the whole idea of it. But more importantly, what we have done diversification of the top line by brand, by geography, and by contract type, which we call capital heavy or capital light. I personally believe, after having worked 4 decades in this sector, there is no right formula. And unfortunately, we keep following, and copying somebody else. Should not copy. You have to see what works for you. What works for us is a certain amount of capital heavy, complemented with a larger amount of capital light, so we benefit from the operating leverage and can drive margin expansion through fee-based business. That's so very simple. And in doing so, we reduce the volatility in the business because we extend the cycle. So you're able to play with different brands and different segments, different business types. The only challenge which I see could come is if you're not able to scale them up. But I remain very confident that be it Ginger, be it Gateway, be it Vivanta, now they will scale up because already have almost 150 Taj hotels portfolio. I mean, this is among the largest in the world. So very soon it will be 200, and there comes a point where luxury cannot be extended further. So I don't know if it makes sense, but Charlie knows from the beginning that this is what we were trying to do. We got derailed for 18 months or 2 years because of COVID, but we never stopped. We continued, and besides luxury leadership, some of my colleagues may not like to hear this, but the fact is that at the end of this year, we'll have the next financial year or the end of calendar year, we'll also have the mid-market leadership.
I am speechless, and everyone is speechless here. But I'm sure that's also inspirational for a lot of us. I'll get closing comments from you. And a very basic question. If I look at last 2 years, every large sector has slowed down. The GDP has slowed down, tech is slowing down, car sales ढीले हैं, urban consumption ढीला है, rural consumption ढीला है, bank credit has gone down. But this sector has done well. How come the macros of the economy are not impacting here?
So Nikunj, you are comparing secular sector with a very long cyclical sector. So this is a asset heavy sector, right? As we speak even right now, we're still not seeing the capital pouring in this sector, right? Because your return on capital are still not good enough. So what you're comparing are the sector which have been steady and growing. Let's not forget that we had a terrible 10 to 12 years, 2019 and COVID. So we should at least have that amount or maybe more, a good period to come, right? We are talking about, first we need to reach that level of return ratios that attract external long-term capital. Then we have external lot of supply that can overshadow the demand. We're talking about probably a decade, right, of that thing. So it's a long way to go. So it's a very different sector which you're looking at it. It has a tinge of consumer, but it has a cyclicality. The balance sheet, that's the reason I'm again referring to it, because you cannot put a Taj, it's not same as opening a dark store or opening a retail store or a pharmacy, right, or a bank branch. It's not same.
Okay. So let's wrap it up with one final question, which is that, in markets there are cycles. The cycle for the hotel sector right now is strong, but within there are moments.
Yes.
There are times when hotels which are asset heavy, they get good market, return, and vice versa has happened. So for the audience here, and especially for some of the managers here who would be testing the waters to raise capital, what should they expect in terms of the flavor for the capital market for the hotel sector for next 3 years?
See, again, I think there is enough appetite and demand, right? The challenge with the external investor community is they have not seen this sector. This is a new sector for them. So probably it's taking time for them to bite it. But we compare to China, and there's nothing wrong in it. Because the journey may take longer, but destination is same, right? So people have seen the success of the hotel industry in China or any other big market, and hospitality is a building block of any economy. So what Mr. Chhatwal said in the beginning, if you believe in India, you have to believe in hospitality sector. It's not possible that they exist separately. So for our sense, I think the capital interest is across the luxury because there is a demand for that. We have wealth, we have money, and then efficient mid-segment as well, because we have growing clusters of manufacturing, right, services, etc. So there is a appetite for both.
So the audience message here broadly from a capital market standpoint is keep building, keep the faith, stock market will support you for next 3 to 5 years.
Yes.
Just keep on building.
Efficiently building. So be very, very mindful about your capital allocations because it's an asset-heavy sector, like any asset-heavy, like hospitals or ports or warehouses. You have to be mindful about your capital allocation. So as I said, again, the smart capital versus not so smart capital will get differentiated, right?
The timer say time's up, but I would say for the hotel industry, the good time has just about started, and the good time is actually here to stay. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. And even though I'm not a professional television anchor now, the Indian hotel sector is something which is absolutely fascinating for me to track. I mean, when you see the Iron Mans and the Avengers here, all you can say the magic is yet to happen. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.